Hi everyone, we have got a full moon in Aries coming up next week, either Monday the 6th of October or Tuesday the 7th, depending on where you are in the world. Of course, we're in Libra season. For a full moon, the sun and moon are in direct opposition. This full moon is in Aries. So what happens with the full moon? Of course, it illuminates. There could be lots coming up, even more so further to the eclipses, the equinox energy, and everything that's been illuminated so far. But we also work with this energy to release and detach from cycles. Notice the theme here, because this is what's been going on for quite some time leading up to now. I mean, 2025 being a 9-year feels like there's been a lot of releasing anyway, and that's in alignment. So that's absolutely what we need to be doing. This full moon in Aries, of course, Aries represents the self, and it is the warrior sovereign self. So our path, what do we want to pursue? And it is from a selfish perspective, but of course we're in Libra season. So we're also needing to look at our relationships, not just with people, but with places and things. And this is to restore balance. So what needs to change in order to restore balance? Do we need to close things out to bring that balance back for us on a soul level? And what does that mean for us? So Libra season is supporting us with that. This full moon in Aries comes along and asks us to detach from anything that is inhibiting our sovereign path. So anything that might be challenging what we want from our life, what we want to pursue. And of course, it's not just as simple as saying it's a full moon in Aries. I'm going to show you the chart, and I will show you other things going on, including 2 yods. Not just one, there's 2 in this chart. So a couple of things to focus on. So are we ready for it? Are we bracing ourselves for this full moon in Aries? It feels like it's a positive one, because it's about restoring that sense of self. But to do that, we need to release and detach from that which is hindering our path, that which is not aligned with our path and what we want to pursue. We're finally realizing what it is that we want to pursue from our life. And it's about following that and closing things out that are not in alignment with that. Okay? It's important to remember that on this healing journey, of course, as we are healing and evolving, we are changing frequency, and therefore alignment with things, situations, people are going to change. So it's a natural part of this journey, okay? But understand at the moment, we're in cardinal energy. Libra is cardinal, but so is Aries. And with this opposition, yes, we need to think of the self. We need to also look at our relationships with people, places, things, make sure there's balance, but make sure that we're leading from a place of that emotional strength with the moon in Aries, and releasing anything that is not aligned with our path forward, or certainly not in support of our path forward. Okay, let's pull up the chart and we'll go into some detail. Okay, so bear with me whilst I just find the chart. Okay, here we go. And I have got the chart against the UK's chart to give some context to the house system. So here we have got the full moon in Aries. So for the UK on BST, 4:47 a.m, but actually 4:46:51 is the moment that the sun and the moon come into direct opposition at 14 degrees and 8 minutes. Okay? And I always show you the chart to show you this. So you can see a couple of white triangles, and they represent the yod. They are fingers of God pointing towards something that we need to focus on, and the underpinning aspects at the base. Okay, but we'll come on to that in a moment. We've got the opposition between the sun and the moon, as we know. Now, the sun is the only thing that's in Libra at this point, but the sun is a massive force, soul essence of the cosmos, a luminary. The moon is also a luminary, okay? And there is determination here with the Aries energy. So this is why it's positive, because it can bring that determination within our emotions to separate ourselves from anything that is not in alignment with our path forward. And there is some supporting energy in Aries with Chiron. It's the healing journey. We're healing our sovereignty, learning to put that crown back on our heads and own who we are. Ceres in Aries, planting those seeds towards the reality that we want, that we want. And of course, Neptune. Neptune will soon be retrograding back into Pisces, by the way. But at the moment, he is hovering on the cusp point and reminding us by lifting the veil and showing us where things are not in alignment, and also showing us where boundaries might be needed as well, okay, in relation to this. Also reminding us to connect deeper with our intuition, and that's a major part of this as well, okay? So from the moon, we're going to come back to the yods, okay? From the moon, there is a harmonious trine to Vesta in Sagittarius. So that's good news because, okay, we're starting to get on board with what our sacred flame is. So that which sparks that flame of enthusiasm, joy, passion within us, that which we want to pursue. And in Sag, it is a journey. We are learning, we are discovering what that is for us, and we're wanting to pursue it. So determined emotions in order to pursue that which sparks the joy for us, because it's going to be different for different people. This is about our journey, okay? Now, there is a sesqui square to Juno in Sag, and these two are both divine feminine asteroids. And notice the degrees here. So intuitively, I'm just getting a bit of a feel here for mirroring because of the 01 and the 10. These two feminine asteroids remind us about the creator that is within, and also the fact that we need to nurture ourselves through this journey, through this process. It is about love. It is about commitment to the path, commitment to the journey, commitment to what we are discovering, and commitment to what we're learning, with an openness to learn more if we need to, and being committed to that. And understanding that if that arrow is pointing towards that which brings us joy, and we are in pursuit of that, we're committed to that, that is going to help us create from that loving and dynamic place within us. And situations and people might be mirroring that back to us at the moment, because that's what I feel, just seeing those degrees and feeling into it intuitively. Okay, other people that we're around who are following their joy could be inspiring you to do the same. They might be inspiring you to do the opposite because you know that's not in alignment for you. Use your discernment as always. Of course, you're going to know what lights that flame within you. You're going to know what sparks that joy within you. And you're going to know if you're committed to your path or not. So there is a minor challenging energy with the commitment to it, but it's understanding it is a journey. So the more we experience, there's purpose to everything. And I've said this before, the more we experience, the more we understand, the more we learn what it is that is right for us and what isn't. So it's being open and committed to discovering that. Okay. There's also a semi-square to Uranus in Gemini, and Uranus is at the base of one of the yods, which I'll come on to. But Uranus is all about big change, sudden change, and ruling Aquarius, it's about new change, it's innovation. Let's not forget there's a technology aspect here, but this feels more appropriate to the change that we're experiencing on our path in relation to our new reality. In Gemini, of course, reminding us that change is needed, and we might just need to look at things from a different perspective in order to create the change, in order to facilitate the change, and to be curious enough and open enough to allow that to happen. Similar to, you know, Juno in Sag, being open and committed to the path and what we're discovering, and also shifting our perspective here with Uranus and being curious enough and open enough to embrace the change that's required on our path. Okay. And Neptune, who is actually at the base of one of the odds with Uranus, is lifting the veil to show us where the change is needed, and also showing us the different kind of aspects that we might need to take into account, because perhaps they've been hidden before under the veil, behind the curtain. Okay. So let's go on to the odds. I've just mentioned that about Uranus and Neptune at the base of one, and their yod is pointing towards Mercury in Scorpio. At this point, Mercury is going to be 0 degrees of Scorpio. So he's starting off a new cycle in Scorpio. Now, this is real, raw communication, honest, blunt communication. And remember, this isn't just about communicating with others or how others communicate with us. This is about our communication to ourselves as well. So if we're trying to understand what Neptune is revealing to us and recognizing this is part of our sovereign path, and then needing to look at things from a different perspective to understand the change that's needed, we've got to communicate to ourselves in a real way. And when I looked at the chart earlier, something came through to me intuitively. It could have even been channeled insight at that point, but it came through loud and clear. Okay, it was in my mind. And that was about, there's no hiding from this anymore. Because Scorpio is about the hidden depth. Okay, Neptune is revealing stuff that's been hidden. Scorpio will go deep because it's very transformative energy. But to go deep, we have to be real and honest. So we need to be honest with ourselves. There's no getting away from this now. This is what this is all about. We've got to be honest with ourselves about the change that's needed on our path because of what's been shown to us. Now, at the other yod apex point, we've got Poseidon. Okay, Poseidon also in Scorpio. So Poseidon is the asteroid that is the supporting cast of Neptune, I suppose, because Poseidon will trudge things up from the depths of the ocean. And at the base, we've got the moon and the MC of the chart. Okay, so from an emotional home perspective, and also that image that we want to present out there to the world of who we are, well, we've got to understand what's coming up. So it's sort of like the ocean flow with all of this. And think about, or maybe don't think about, because, you know, if you knew well, if I can get my words out, if you knew what was at the real depth of the ocean, you know, that's going to open your eyes to a lot of things. But the ocean, there is great depth to the ocean. And think about the water and how it can be calm and it can be turbulent. It flows, it cleanses, there's movement. Okay, so from the depth of the ocean, like Poseidon, metaphorically bringing things up to the surface from the deep, deep ocean. So think of the soul as kind of like, it's like the deepest, darkest points of your soul. That's coming up, because Neptune's also lifting the veil on that as well. But bringing stuff up that we need to attend to in our emotional home with the moon at the base. And to understand how we feel about our path and what's being revealed to us. Also, because both of these yods point towards a planet and an asteroid in Scorpio, that's very fixed. So it feels to me like these things are going to come up no matter what. And that's why there's no hiding from it. There's hiding from it if we push it away, if we suppress it, okay, if we have the blinkers on and we just avoid it. And I say that because Lilith is close by here, also in Scorpio. So in between Mercury and Poseidon, we've got Lilith, shadow feminine, and Mars. Okay, so it's understanding that, okay, there's going to be some shadow aspects coming up here for attention. But in order to get through that, we need to understand what's coming up for our attention, because that could be challenging our path. Think about that. You know, if we've been suppressing things that we actually want to do, we actually want to pursue, because we've not felt good enough to do it, or other people have told us we shouldn't do it, or whatever nonsense has been going on, okay, but we've been suppressing it nonetheless for valid reasons, but not serving us, it's coming up for us to see so that we can deal with it and release it in order to move forward on our path. So it might not be another person hindering our path because they don't want us to do X, Y, and Z that we actually want to pursue, but no, you can't do that. It might not be that kind of situation. It might simply be us getting in our own way because we've suppressed what we've actually wanted to do, and we've been doing something else that's fine, but it's not in our soul's truth. And we're slowly beginning to realize that it's making us uncomfortable. We have to deal with it. This is what's been coming up. But in order to facilitate change, we have to acknowledge it and deal with it. And it's not to say it has to be dealt with instantly. Everybody's on their own timeline, their own process. But it's about acknowledging it. So understanding what's coming up, why it's coming up, and what you then need to do about it. Do I need to sit with this for a bit? Do I need to heal something? Is this a pattern that's coming up? How do I need to deal with it? Feeling into it with the moon, okay? Because this could all be illuminated. It's the things that we're aware of that we need to detach from or release that could be hindering our path, our sovereign path. If we're aware of it already and it's like we're ready to release, then it's the lunar energy to work with to release. But it could just be an illumination of it that we've then got to sit with because we need to process it, understand where it's coming from. This enables the wisdom to be integrated into our soul in order for us to move on, rather than allowing it to come up, pushing it back down, or allowing it to come up and saying, okay, yeah, all right, I feel like that. Right, I'm going to deal with that next year, for example. Okay. So recognize what's coming up to, you know, teach us things, to show us things at this time. And it's all relating to our sovereign path. And intuition is a big part of this because, of course, our path forward relates to the ethereal essence of connecting with source energy. So that's also going deep, but it's going deep into the subconscious because it's Pisces energy. So it's about using intuition, feeling into it, using your intuition and understanding what is being shown to you. Remember, Saturn, the great teacher, is also in Pisces because he's also going back over old ground, saying, are you in alignment with your soul's truth or not? You know, he's going to be in Pisces up until 14th of February 2026 for us in the UK, because I've joked about this before as a Pisces, saying it's an amazing Valentine's present that he leaves Pisces. And that's basically based on UK time. It's going to be a different date for other people in the world, but it made me smile because it's the 14th for the UK when he leaves Pisces and goes back into Aries. So this is our chance to get aligned with our spiritual truth. Past Fortuna is also there close by to the North Node. There's only 1 degree difference. So our success, and success can come in many ways. Our success is about following the ethereal path of trusting our intuition at this time and not denying what is being shown to us. Okay? How this full moon presents itself, how we see it, has got the Virgo energy written all over it. And that's where the South Node is. And there is that conjunction, 1 degree difference, but there is that conjunction with the South Node. So how it shows up is a bit of a reminder of the past. Okay? But also recognize that we can utilize the energy of the South Node in Virgo to say, okay, let's use it as a springboard. That's where we've come from. We probably try to control, like have expectation of an outcome. Things have to look a certain way. So if I want to follow my pursuit, it has to look like this, but we're realizing via our intuition, no, there's a bit more surrender and flow to that. This is what I want to pursue, and come what may. Okay, so it's going to show up as a bit of a signal from the past, potentially, because of the ascendant of the chart being in Virgo. And reminders of the past. So past patterns, past life patterns, that could all be coming up to reveal what needs to be shown from the depth, so that we understand how we can restore balance with the sun in Libra, and also ensure that we are following our sovereign path and releasing anything that is not aligned with that, or at least setting intention to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the UK's chart. Okay. Up against that, sorry, I've got to go back up the photo album. Here we go. All right, this is just to give context of the house system. So if this was a personalized horoscope or moon scope for you, your natal chart would be in the middle, and then what I've just shown you as the event is on the outer wheel. Okay, so I've got the UK's natal chart in the middle, just to give you context of the house system. So the full moon is happening for the UK in the 10th house of inner authority and work. It also pertains to social status as well. So in opposition, the sun is in the 4th house of foundation. So we want fairness and balance at the foundation on a soul level. That's what we're trying to restore. But that's also where the communication, the blunt, real, honest communication expression comes into it with Mercury and Scorpio. Okay, but here, because of the Aries energy, this is absolutely about standing up as the leader of our own life in terms of our path. The trine to Vesta, well, Vesta and Juno are both in the 5th house for the UK. So absolutely, that which sparks the joy, the passion, connected to the heart chakra here. This could be something that is relating to creative expression, artistic expression, but it doesn't have to. This could simply be something you love, because it is the house of love and joy. So pursuing that, what you're learning about that from a heart space perspective is important. And Juno there, commitment to that. It's like commitment to the heart space, commitment to what your heart is telling you. Now, opposite house is the 11th house, and that's where Uranus is. So I can't mention this without saying this could pertain to connections with others, because we've got the 11th house connections with others, and that is where Uranus is. So big change in connections with others. Okay, maybe needing to look at both sides of a connection to be fair with the sun and Libra in the foundation. Okay, but understanding that the opposition energy is the 5th house. So there needs to be that quest, that commitment to what makes you happy. And the change might be needed in connections with others, but recognizing that there is a degree of curiosity or a desire to look at things from both perspectives, to be fair in that. and what that might be teaching you as well. Okay, now the odds. So of course, Uranus and Neptune, 11th house, 9th house, and then Mercury's in the 4th house. So it is learning about connections with others and our foundation in relation to that on a soul level. And of course, Poseidon, 5th house as well. So churning stuff up to show us in the heart space what it is. And it could be stuff from the past that's challenging our emotions in that way. But there with the MC of the chart, 11th, but the moon is in the 10th, and that's where the inner authority comes into it as well. There's also, interestingly, opposition between the vertex point in Pisces and the UK's natal moon in Virgo. So that's 8th house and 2nd house. So a destined approach that empowers us from an intuitive place, Pisces, needs to be balanced out with how we feel, moon, cleaning up our emotions, Virgo, moon, in the 2nd house of worth and values. So we need to feel worthy of the change that we want to create. And how does that challenge our power or our passion, zest for what we're trying to do? Well, we need to have some degree of intuition, but we also need to clean things up when it comes to worth and values. 2nd house and 8th house is also about resources. So 2nd house, inner resources, 8th house, external resources. So balancing out the two, because it could be that there's a destined approach with external resources. That could be somebody or something externally that is going to help you on your path. But do you feel worthy of receiving that? Are you open to receiving that? And recognize here in the UK 2nd house, we've also got Leo energy. So are you showing up as yourself with that full authenticity and courageous enough to be open to receive from a worth and value perspective? Virgo moon likes to feel in control. So external resource coming in on the path, which is very spiritual, the Pisces energy, but fated and destined, vertex, can allow you to feel out of control, because it's like, whoa, okay, where did that person come from? Or where did that situation come from? Am I open to receive this? Am I trusting it? Dive into your intuition. And this is what we are learning, okay? This is what we are learning with the 9th house. And Saturn teaching us as well. Lessons, major life lessons here. Okay, and they could pertain to trust. All right. So there you go. That's just to give some context with the house system. Let's stop sharing. Okay. So I wish you all the best for this upcoming full moon in Aries. And of course, it's recognizing what is coming up from the deepest, darkest points. I was going to say parts and points, kind of came out as a blended word there. You know where I'm coming from. It's going from the deepest parts of your soul up to the surface, being illuminated to you so you can understand what might have been holding you back from your sovereign path forward, that which you're trying to pursue, or situations from the past. Because remember, the ascendant of the chart is Virgo. So it's kind of like the full moon is showing up. We're seeing it as a bit of a blast from the past because of the South Node being there in that 1 degree conjunction with it. And the fact that it's kind of like, for me, it makes me feel like past life patterns as well. That's not going to relate to everyone, but if you resonate with that, you're gonna understand, because that's what a lot of this has been about thus far. Certainly patterns coming up to the surface, but even just from the past in this lifetime, things coming up, and it's like, oh, I've got to revisit that again, have I? Because maybe I haven't integrated some learning from it that's going to help me on my path forward. Maybe I haven't released something because I've been holding on to it too tightly. I've been holding on to the emotions, or I've been holding on to something in relation to it, and I haven't been able to let it go because of X, Y, Z reason. So it's coming up to show us there needs to be that openness and that commitment to the path of what we're learning and discovering with Juno in Sag, but also ensuring that we are pursuing our sacred flame energy with Vesta in Sag. Okay, so we want to bring balance in, certainly within the soul. It's about reciprocity, it's about harmony, balance, it's about fairness, it's about divine justice, okay, on a soul level. But we need to get our emotional home in check from the perspective of the self, Aries energy, and standing up for ourselves within our emotions, having that determination to pursue our path, and recognizing that we need to be open to things that might be coming up that we need to release. If you feel that's not, relative to you at all, not relating to you at all, because you've cleared everything, well done you. But this journey of life, there's many things still coming up for attention, okay? And this is just asking us to look at our sovereignty, our leadership of our own life. And yeah, it could relate to work situations, of course it could. But it's also about being the leader of our own life and what we want to pursue, what brings us joy. Even if it's a hobby, but we want to pursue it because it brings us that joy, it makes us feel good. And if we feel good, that's going to change our vibration. It's going to allow us to emit that frequency that is in alignment with our soul's truth, which is going to make Saturn happy as well. It's going to promote the change that Uranus is trying to bring in. And it's allowing us to forge our path ahead, connected with our intuition and our inner compass. So it's all for our highest good. So I'm sending you all the best. Take care. And of course, I will see you on the next video. Happy full moon in Aries, everyone. Take care.